Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shishma Sarila, consulting homeopath at Fidicus Homeopathy. Now let us know how the stress will affect the hormones and what hormones are released during stress. We can, classify them or, come down to make some points where we can discuss it in a much more easier manner. The first one can be hormonal changes due to chronic stress, impact on the reproductive system, and then other hormonal disruptions that are happening in the body and mental illness formation. So we are going to discuss about these 4 points in particular, and also we'll be explaining them in detail. See, whenever you have stress in the body, we have something called as hypothalamus, or if you're not well acquainted with that term, we'll just use that there are some parts of the brain which do respond to the stress. And how do they respond? How does brain know that we have stress, right? See, for example, you're having a deadline, you hear about the deadline, your ears perceive it and send a sensory signal, the brain perceive it, and then it becomes stressful. For example, you see a tiger, for example, you see someone you love with other ones. You see that picture is taken from your eyes into your brain, and then the stress starts, right? For example, you hear a bad news, for example, you hear a news that you are not expecting, something, for example, you touch something which is not good, something too hot or something too cold, that sensory input is taken through the skin, right? So the sensory inputs are taken, they are processed in the brain, and this stress is perceived by the brain. If you have this chronic stress, what happens? The brain will perceive the stress, it will keep rewinding what is the stressful event, it will brood on it, and after brooding on it, it will release, during this process of stress, it will release a hormone called as cortisol hormone. This cortisol hormone, if it is acute in nature, for example, you have to push on the brakes if you see a person, or if you have seen a cheetah or a leopard and you have to run or you have to hide somewhere, you have to have logical reasoning, right? And also you need power in your muscles to run from a certain kind of animal, right? So whenever cortisol is released in the body, you need muscle power, so the blood sugar is kept on high. So this cortisol will help in keeping the blood sugar high in the body, so that while running your muscle can consume the sugar, right? And next, it will alert you, wherein the digestive power will decrease and your muscle power or your alertness will increase. Your eyes will dilate because there is adrenaline rush also, and then you will start to think in a cognitive, and then your cognitive functions all are heightened, okay? And you see better, you visualize better, you think better, your logical reasoning is better. This is the acute phase of the cortisol. It helps the body. But what happens if the stress is continued, if you're brooding on some stuff, if you're rethinking the same bad thing that you've heard or that you've seen or that you're feeling? You have, sometimes some people have this feeling that somebody is cheating on them, they have a feeling that something bad is happening. When you start to brood and overthink that thought a couple of times, your brain will perceive it as stress, and if it is a longer period of time, it is chronic, right? And during the chronic stage, the cortisol, which is supposed to help the body to cope up the stress, will start to affect the immune system. That is why people, especially conditions like psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, all of these conditions, or SLE as such, occur in patients or occur in people who have anxiety or who overthink a lot or who are oversensitive to the surroundings. This cortisol, what it makes is, in the acute phase it will help the immune system, but in the chronic phase it will deteriorate the immune system, where thereby you will be getting these autoimmune diseases. Apart from that, what does this cortisol do? Whenever there is stress on the body or stress perceived, the body will think of preserving. The only motto of our brain or of our body is to preserve the body, right? So what it does, it will perceive it as famine condition. If you are in depression and you don't eat properly, or even if you're eating for a very small quantities also, how the brain will perceive it? It will perceive it as famine condition, and whatever you're eating it will store in the form of fat, so that your body can run for a longer period of time even in this famine condition. So whatever you're eating will start accumulating in your belly. That is why people who have high cortisol or chronic stress will have belly fat, they'll have fat in the hip area, especially women. And also, what does this cortisol do? It will maintain that high blood sugar rise in your blood vessel, right? And if that high blood sugar level is risen continuously in your body, it can lead you from a no diabetic stage to pre-diabetic stage, from pre-diabetic stage to a diabetic stage. And if not controlled by medicines, or if your chronic stress per se is not taken out, it can go into uncontrolled diabetes. This is how people with stress have or get these lifestyle disorders. And today we are talking about fibroids, right? So how are these fibroids formed? Cortisol will cause some reaction and thereby it will cause fibroids. This whole reaction I'll be explaining it to you in the next slide. If you're someone who is experiencing fibroids or chronic stress, infertility issues, male and female infertility issues, abortions or miscarriages, if you're someone who's experiencing bulky uterus, if you're someone who's experiencing endometriosis, adenomyosis, dysmenorrhea, or polycystic ovaries, remember Fidicus Homeopathy is the answer. Here we have two kinds of consultation. One is online, another one is offline consultation. If you're someone who's staying near the nearest branch of Fidicus, you can come and contact us offline or in person. If you're someone who's staying far away from us, you can contact us online. We have two options in online. One is the audio consultation option and one is the video consultation option. After the case taking is done, if we need any further investigations, we will let you know and you can share the investigations which you have already done to us. And after this whole procedure, especially to the online clients, medicines will be door delivered to you. If you're staying in India, it can take 3 to 4 business days. If you're staying in USA, it can take 3 to 5 business days. And if you're staying elsewhere across the globe, it can take 4 to 8 business days for our medicines to reach your doorstep. If you want to contact us, you can call us on this number, WhatsApp us or ping us or message us on this number. If you want to know more about Fidicus Homeopathy, you can check our website www.fidicus.com. If you're someone who's suffering from fibroids or infertility issues, male or female infertility issues, miscarriages, or if you're someone who's suffering from bulky uterus, endometriosis, adenomyosis, or dysmenorrhea, or any other female reproductive organ issue diseases, you have seen that how homeopathy is much more helpful than allopathy in this kind of diseases. And now we are going to discuss why Fidicus Homeopathy is much better than other homeopathic institutions or other homeopathic doctors. Because Fidicus Homeopathy stands for highest chance of health. Here we are already experiencing good success rates in treatment of male and female reproductive organ diseases. Apart from that, the transparent treatment, there is no gray area between the patient and the doctor. The prognosis will be clearly explained to you. And the personal care here at Fidicus is top notch. Any sort of queries or questions that you have, we will be busting all of that and educating you on that. If you want to choose health, if you want to choose cure, choose Fidicus Homeopathy. Thank you.